All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most misunderstood ideas in all of trading, what a real edge actually is. Most people are convinced it's about being right almost all the time. But today, we're going to tear that idea down because the truth is so much more interesting. And honestly, it's a lot more like owning a casino.
Just let that sink in for a second. What if winning less than half the time was actually the key? I know, it sounds completely backward, right? It feels like a one-way ticket to blowing up your account. Well, we're about to see why that's not just possible, but potentially way more profitable.
So many traders get trapped in this quest for the Holy Grail. They spend all their time hunting for that magical strategy that wins 99% of the time. But you know what? It's a total myth. It's a distraction that makes you focus on completely the wrong thing. See, the big mistake is obsessing over the win rate. The real question isn't, how often am I right? The question you should be asking is, how much money do I make when I'm right compared to how much I lose when I'm wrong? And to really get this, we've got to stop thinking like a gambler and start thinking like the house. Take a look at this number, 2.7%. That's it. That is the entire house edge in a game of European roulette. It seems tiny, almost insignificant. The casino knows for a fact it's not going to win every spin. Heck, it's going to lose a ton of them. But over the long haul, that tiny, rock-solid mathematical advantage is all it needs.
And that's the whole magic right there. The casino's profit doesn't come from some psychic ability to predict where the ball will land. No, it comes from the law of large numbers. They just apply that small edge again and again and again, thousands of times. Their profitability isn't luck. It's a mathematical certainty.
Okay, so let's break down how we can take that casino logic and apply it to our trading. This is where we make that critical shift in focus, away from just being right and towards being profitable. So what is an edge, really? It's not some secret trick to avoid losses. It's simpler than that. It's just a statistical reality. It means that if you take a whole bunch of trades, say 100 of them, the money you make from all your winners is more than the money you lose from all your losers. You just come out ahead. That's it. And this brings us to the math behind it all, this idea of positive expectation. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's just the average amount of money you can expect to make per trade. If that number is positive, even by a tiny bit, then you have a winning system. You have a casino. Now, this is where it all clicks. Look at this example. Over 100 trades, you lose more often than you win, 55 losses to only 45 wins. But, and this is the key, every time you win, you make $300. Every time you lose, you only lose 100. The math just works. After all those trades, you're up a cool $8,000. That's the power of having winners that are way bigger than your losers. And this isn't just some made-up scenario. This is the bedrock of so many professional trading strategies. You don't need to win all the time if your winners are big enough. It's a beautiful trade-off. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be profitable. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually know if your strategy has an edge? This is where we leave the world of guesswork behind and enter the world of cold, hard data. Proving your edge is a step-by-step process. First, you have to define your rules with absolute clarity, no ambiguity. Then, you backtest it. You run your strategy against years of historical data to see how it would have performed. And finally, you analyze those results to see if a real statistical edge actually exists. And when you're analyzing, these are the kinds of numbers you're looking for. Profit factor is just asking, for every dollar you lost, how many did you make? Anything over 1.5 is pretty solid. Maximum drawdown, that tells you the worst losing streak your account took. You got to know if you can stomach the ride. And positive expectancy, of course, has to be positive. These numbers don't just hint it at an edge, they prove it. Now, this next part is maybe the most crucial piece of the puzzle, and it's where so many people fall apart. It's all about discipline. Remember the casino? Their edge only works because they deal thousands of hands. The exact same thing is true for you. This quote from Mark Douglas just hits the nail on the head. You might know your system wins 45% of the time over the long run, but what you have absolutely no way of knowing is which of the next 10 trades will be the winners. The sequence is completely random. So what does this mean for you? It means you have to take every single trade your system generates. You can't skip one because you have a bad feeling about it. If you do that, you might just be skipping your biggest winner of the month, and that completely destroys the math of your edge. You have to execute flawlessly to let the probabilities do their work. And all of this leads to the ultimate mental shift. This is the final, most important change you have to make. You're not in the market to predict the future. You are in the market to execute your proven mathematical advantage. I mean, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the gambler. They're chasing certainty, they're emotional, they're hoping. But on the right, that's the house. That's you. You're not hoping, you're executing a statistical edge with discipline. Because you just know that over time, the math is on your side. So, I'll just leave you with that question. Are you ready to make that shift? Are you ready to stop guessing and start operating? To stop being the player and finally start owning the casino?